Hello, Castle Hill scientists. I've got a couple of really fun things to do. But first of all, Bones and I are bored. Also, it's kind of hot and really would like to cool down. And actually, Bones is feeling a little under the weather. Now, he doesn't have COVID or anything, but he had the chills, and so he said he was going to put a mask on for this lesson. But he also really wanted something cold to drink or something to quench his thirst. And I got this wonderful idea from my daughter, Brewer Roberts, who is a sophomore in high school, went to school at Castle Hill. That's probably why she's so smart, about how to make popsicles at home. Now, when you buy your popsicles at a store, they're tiny little things. And the beauty about making them at home is you can make them as big as you want. You can make them any flavor you want. You can even add things like marshmallows or maybe grapes or some kind of fruit, or maybe you could even make a smoothie and turn it into a popsicle. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing we need is a mold. All right, it can be a tube like this. It can be some cardboard that I've folded, and I'll take a rubber band. There's my mold. Now, I can't just pour the liquid into this. That would be really unwise. So I need some kind of barrier, some kind of membrane that's going to hold the liquid in place while it freezes. Well, how about a plastic bag? This is just a regular sandwich bag. And another option could be maybe a produce bag that you get at the grocery store so you know that's clean. A Ziploc bag works well. The material's a little stiffer than my sandwich bag, but it can still work. We just need something that's going to hold the liquid in one place while it freezes. So the first thing I'm going to do is take what's going to be my popsicle stick. It's just a plastic knife. Or if you have an actual popsicle stick at home, that works well. Plastic fork. I imagine we're all doing a lot of takeout, so you might have some plastic utensils around. Here's a bamboo skewer that could work. So I'm going to open up my plastic bag. I'm going to stick my fake popsicle stick in the middle, and I'm going to push the bag in very gently. Now, of course, if you push it through the bottom, well, it's going to have a hole in it and the liquid's all going to fall out. And I'm going to make another one. This time I'll use my other mold. Here is the other mold. And for those of you who are really attentive, you'll notice that I don't even have my brace on today, but I'm still not very coordinated with my weak thumb. And I'm going to do another one that's a little smaller. I'll use the fork this time. Very gently. Actually, I'll just use this. All right, I've got everything set up on a tray here. Now you'll notice that these are not very stable. And if you put these into your freezer and they spill, well, that will be a way that you can kill some time by cleaning up that mess in the freezer. But we can use a rubber band and put them around all of our molds. Now that is much more stable than just one. Okay, after I have my mold set, and I have made my special jungle juice, which is a little bit of blue Hawaiian punch kind of stuff, and I threw in some red stuff, and that's what's going to be my popsicle. You want to make sure you've got a good handle. Now, I actually didn't even use my popsicle sticks because they were too short, because I'm making very big popsicles. And then I very carefully pour the liquid in. 2 centimeters, that much from the top. And then I'm gonna go put this in the freezer, wait a few hours, and I will have some wonderful popsicles. What do you think? What do you think? That's what Bones thinks. Okay, on to our next experiment. Okay, and now for part 2 of our experiment, we're going to be learning about how temperature and air pressure are related. And I'm going to show you a little demonstration about that. I'm just going to go do the demonstration without saying too much about it. All you need is some water. And I'll put a little food coloring in there so it's a little, you can see it a little better. And I've got a regular glass, and I've got a little teacup candle. And first thing I'm going to do is pour some water into my dish, just a regular dish. I'm going to put my candle in the center, just like that. Light it. Okay, I want you to think about what's happening to the air around that candle and how it might be a little different than the air around here. Okay, I'm going to take my cup, my glass, I'm going to put it on top of the candle. And so we all know that the oxygen inside of the candle is being used up by the flame. And lo and behold, look at the water rise up, up, up. Pretty cool. All right. I'm gonna let the water out. Now, why did that water go into the glass and go up? Okay, I want to do it a second time. This time I'm going to put a little piece of styrofoam in the center on which to put my candle. Add a little more water. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again. Now watch carefully. This time I'm going to hold the glass over the flame for just a minute. Think about what's happening to the air inside of the glass before I put it down. Put it down. Oxygen's being used up, and as soon as that candle goes out, we get a dramatic change to the water inside. Now, why did that happen? The reason that the water went up, there are actually two different types of reactions taking place. Okay, we've got a candle that's burning, and what kind of change is that to the matter? All right, it's a chemical change because the wax or the paraffin is being burned. It's changing shape. The heat's being produced, obviously. And the oxygen around that flame is serving as fuel for the candle. Okay? So that's the chemical change. And the chemical change is also taking place when we put the cup over the candle, and the oxygen inside of the glass is also being consumed as fuel, but eventually it runs out. Now, the physical change is taking place when the air inside of this glass, the air pressure increases because the temperature increases. The air molecules all want to push out. They're like, oh man, I'm going to go, I want to move, I want to move. But we're going to trap them inside of this cup. So the air pressure inside of the cup is greater than the air pressure around it because we're heating up the air inside. And then when we put the cup over the candle, if you look closely, the water is pushed out because the air pressure inside of the cup is greater. So the water gets pushed out. Saw a little bubble there on the side, that was the air escaping. And oxygen is being consumed. Now, right here is when the candle goes out, the air pressure inside of the cup begins to decrease very rapidly. All right, and as it decreases, the air pressure on the outside is greater, and it's pushing down And so between the pushing down and the pulling in of the air on the inside, because it's contracting. When things lose energy, they contract and they slow down. And it's going to pull the water up into the glass. And so that's how it works. Now, let's play around with this a little bit, because I'll tell you, this is not how it worked for me the first time. And I was very confused. So I'm going to show you what happened the first time I did this, and then maybe you can figure out what happened. Okay, the first time I did this, I used a styrofoam plate. And I poured my water in, thinking this is going to be really cool, have something to share with my students. And I put my candle in the center, lit it. I put my cup on top. And I watched. And I watched. And the flame went out. And nothing happened. Nothing. And I was like, what? This isn't what's supposed to happen. And then, so I tried to pick it up, and the whole thing lifted up, and the water inside had been pushed out, but it wasn't being sucked back in and rising up like it was supposed to. And I was like, what is different? Well, what's different is that the first time I did it with the styrofoam plate. All right, styrofoam, the properties of styrofoam are much different than the properties of this harder plate here. And so when the air pressure in the cup decreased, all right, and I was thinking the water would come rushing back in, well, because the cup was being forced down onto the plate by the air pressure, the water couldn't come in. Right? It took me about 4 or 5 times to figure this out, and I was like, okay, got to change something. So I used the harder plate, and it worked just fine. And then that made me think, what a wonderful mistake to have made, because I learned something about this, and so I thought, well, let's play around with this a little bit. What else can we do? I can't even get this off. That was a lot of suction there. All right, so I said, let's do something else. This time I'm going to use a plastic plate. Pour my water back in. Great thing about this is that you can do these experiments really quickly. Take my cup, put it down. Now another variable you can introduce is hold the glass over the candle for a longer period of time. So it really, really heats up. So the air pressure on the inside is going to be much different than the pressure on the outside. Plop it down, candle to go out. We would expect the water to come rushing in. And it didn't. Okay, same thing happened with the styrofoam plate. So maybe it's the density of the plastic, possibly. Listen. This time, let's try a tin plate. I got my tin plate, candle, water. The only things I've been changing right now have been the pan or the plate that we've been using. And with this one, there's a little round circle on the bottom. I'm going to put my cup right on there. Now the water jumped out of that a little more quickly. I could see some of the air escaping out. And the candle is out. And the candle is rising. Maybe it has to do something with the amount of friction on the surface of the plate, because that water rose up pretty quickly, and maybe there's just a little too much friction on our styrofoam. And you can actually see the outline of the rim of the glass on this one. But I'm a little surprised that this one didn't work because this doesn't seem like there's a lot of friction there. All right, so let's do a couple other experiments. Okay, this time we're going to double our candle power. And I prepared my plate here. I lit the candle, put a few drops of wax down, and put the candle in place. You could also use a little bit of modeling clay to put it down if you don't want to drip wax onto the plate. And going to add my water, light my candle. So the only thing that we've changed is now we have 2 candles instead of 1. And you know, they're burning a little brighter, so I think this is going to cause a big difference. That had a big difference, I'd say. All right, went up a lot higher. You could even hear some of the air being sucked in with the water. Okay, I want to do one more. And this time I'm going to use a very small flat. I just want to give you some ideas on, you know, different shapes of the containers, different plates, different types of candles. Now this is much different than the other one. It's a little shorter, but it's got a narrow mouth to it. And the candle's burning a little brighter. Put that down. Candle went out almost right away. All right, well, so Bones, thanks for your help with this one. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 fun experiments and activities, and go get your mom or dad and get the things that you need and have fun experimenting. Okay, but before I say goodbye, I wanted to share with you how my popsicles came out. Now, these didn't just freeze in the last 10 minutes. I actually had to put them in yesterday, took a little break, and I finished them up today, a full day later. And see, it's all nice and hard. And I need to, okay, so that's how it's looking so far. Now I need to get the plastic off. That's just as easy. A little bit of it, no, it all came off just fine. Now if you look closely, you can see some of the, looks like the sugar content or my Kool-Aid mix was concentrated in different places. Really good. All right, I hope you have enjoyed these 2 activities. Now go and experiment, go make some popsicles, and have fun. Take care, everyone.